What's going on, and welcome to the video, guys. So we're going to be looking at the Cromwell on Ghost Town, and I haven't played the Cromwell in a while. I've only had actually have only played a few games in this thing in my career of World of Tanks. I'm going to try and probably start playing this thing more. I would like to at least 2-mark it, but I think I could 3-mark this thing because the Cromwell is almost plays as a light tank. Like, look at what you're able to do in this thing. Look at all these people I've spotted here, and yeah, so I would like to start playing this thing more. I'm probably going to try and just 2-mark it at first, and then we'll come back to it, maybe to attempt a 3-mark. But for now, I decided to play this thing just to get a couple battle pass points, because I'm playing all kinds of tanks. You know, you have to mix up what you play because you can only get so many battle pass points per tank. If you didn't know that, now you do, because once you cap out, that's it. Like, you don't get any more battle pass points if you continue to play, like, say, like this tank. I think it only goes up to 100. I want to say the tier 7 is like 250, and then tier 8 is like 400, and then tier 9 I think is 550, and then from there it goes up to like 700 or something like that on the tier 10s. So the higher the tier, the more battle pass points you can get. Something to keep in mind anyway. We're on Ghost Town, and yeah, this map, I really don't like this map. And anything, I was going to say anything but a light tank, but honestly, even in light tanks, I'm not a fan of this map. I feel like it's very, just too, like, you have TDs that are going to camp back here, and you can try and spot this, and then you have, like, the medium line here, where it's very difficult to really do any kind of damage, because everyone just pokes, hold down, and there's really no, like, strategy to it. It's just like everybody just comes right here, and everybody just comes right here, and then you just have, like, whoever's going to be the better players at hold down are going to win this. And then, sometimes you'll have like light tanks that try and spot through here and stuff like that, but this is just wide open. And yeah, usually in my opinion, whoever kind of runs the perimeter of this map is going to likely win the game. Right now, I'm getting spotted here by the T-3485 or something like that. I'm trying just to spot, because you can do that with the Cromwell, and that's really all we can do for right now. But again, to talk about the strategy of this map, guys, I don't think it necessarily matters who wins each side of the map. I would say the one line is maybe a little more important, since you have this whole area right here where I think it's easier to get shots at people. But again, like over on this side of the map, you also have these two little mounds, and you can get a lot of side shots going this way as well. The city is fairly covered, so there's a lot of buildings that block like the middle of this map and stuff like that. So it's tough to get shots going in like this at people that are going to cap out if it's like in counter, because I think the base is here on a counter. But I feel like whoever runs the perimeter of this map, so like if you win the one line and then you push this way, and you're able to kind of like spot people in here, and maybe even just win like most of the outside of this map, that's going to be effective at then being able to flank into the city. So, it might be a very standard kind of way of looking at it, like whoever has more of the map is going to win. But in my opinion, even if you have the entire city and you're like on a counter, you don't want to lose the perimeter of this map, because like I said, it's just so easy to come in here and flank the city, given that you have good cover, right, with all these buildings. So that's kind of how I look at Ghost Town, and that's the goal, right? But like, you're only one tank, so you have to just kind of work with your team and do whatever you can do to try and win the most of this map. I mean, there's just nothing else to really do. Like, I poke up, Hellcat gets a shot into me. There's just nothing. There's nothing that a tank like a Cromwell can really do until the game progresses. It's just like playing a light tank. Like, it's not really a good hold down tank. You have to just wait and try and maybe take some long range shots, and that's about it. That's why I am not a fan of this map, because I just feel like it takes way too long to get, to make any kind of plays safely. You just can't really do anything until a lot of people die on the map. Like, you need open space to be able to make plays. So I'm going to take a bunch of shots here on this VK, he didn't move. Like, he just sat there the entire time. And I put a bunch of shots into this guy blind, and it was just incredible. Like, he would not move. I don't know why, but I guess he felt like he couldn't get away from here, which he might not have been able to, but yeah, eventually we end up killing this guy, and now we're being pressed. And you can see how, you know, this becomes pretty effective if you're going to win the one line, like I was saying before, because you have a lot of good like elevation over here, and there's bushes, and there's all kinds of angles you can form at getting shots on people on both, you know, sides of the map, and also towards the city. So I feel like, if anything, one line is probably a little more effective, but again, you know, everyone has different strategies on maps like these. I prefer to just try and take the most perimeter I can, and yeah, that's how I work with it. So we're at 82 spotting, guys, and like, this is all we have. We have a lot of blind damage, but just keep in mind that sometimes a lot of your damage and assist damage can come from end game. You don't necessarily need to be doing, you know, a bunch of damage at the beginning of the game. Be patient. You know, I was even being impatient by taking a shot from the Hellcat and stuff, but just be patient and let the damage and the spotting damage come to you. Let the numbers just add up over the, you know, course of the game. It's a close game. We're not getting stomped. They're not really getting stomped. So you take your time here, and, you know, just kind of let the enemies come to you. I'm spotting the Jackson here through the bushes, and we're just kind of waiting. You get a shot, someone gets a shot into the Jackson, and we get the spotting from it, and that's all we're doing. We're just being patient. We're trying to protect our Thunderbolt here. We have two TDs in the back. We have a Crusader and an M44 that are able to get shots here, and we are just hanging out, enjoying ourselves in the bush, and, you know, that's sometimes all you can do, right? That's all you can do, guys. It's 7-3. You know, I could try and start putting pressure somewhere on this map now. I could have came over to like the 9-0 line and tried to push this, but I just don't really like doing it. You know, unless I'm in a light tank, I'm not going to really try and push this side of the map. You know, unless it comes down to a game-winning situation where there's only a couple tanks left, and, you know, that's what you have to do. But right now, I want to protect our Thunderbolt. I want to stay where most of the team is and wait to see what's going to happen. Now, only the Jackson is left over here, likely. We have a SU-152 that's unlit, and the other two are arty. So, likely, we're going to be able to take this side of the map now. I think I told the Thunderbolt, like, let's push into the Jackson, because the Jackson has pretty slow turret turn speed, and I feel like I can run circles around this guy, but the T-34-85M is still in the middle, and this is a very powerful tank. You know, it's got good DPM, it can wreck you. I only have half my HP, so I'm trying to be careful about this, but I think at this point we can try and push this line, right? So I'm going to get up here, we're going to go to my view now, and let's take a look at what we have. So Jackson has obviously left this area. He's moved back a little bit, and that's actually good for us because it now gives us shots at the T-34-85M. The accuracy on this tank is not the best, guys, but I think it's the aim time mostly that makes it a little like, but I was able to make it work with those pretty long shots on the T-34-85M. We're able to clean him up, and now my guys are able to push the city as well, and from here what we're going to do is try and push into these guys. Now I'm assuming, right, let's take a quick look at this and pause for a second. If the SU has been unlit, if the SU-152 has been unlit, where do you think he is? I would think here. This is the standard TD hill, and this is exactly where I would think the SU-152 would be sitting if he has been unspotted. Only because if he was over here, likely, I feel like at this point he would have been lit, taking shots at the AT-8 or something. That's where I think he is. We're going to find out here. I'm spotted by the Jackson, obviously, and sure enough, there's the SU-152. So this is just something like, a lot of people can be oblivious to this. You know, it might seem obvious to some people watching this that, oh yeah, the SU should be there and you should be being careful not to get hit by him, but a lot of players don't really look at the lineup, and sometimes they'll just run like right into enemy fire and not pay attention to who's unspotted on the map, right? So just keep this in mind, guys. Like, always be paying attention to the enemy lineup. Look at who's spotted and who's not. Even without XVM, the game will tell you this, so just keep that in mind. I know I have the Thunderbolt behind me. This SU makes a very aggressive and dumb play in my opinion, and I'm going to basically run around this guy. I'm able to clean him up, and we're at 4 kills, 792 damage, 901 assist. Something else to note about this tank, I kind of say thank you and shoot this guy. That's just like my way of saying thank you, I guess. But something to note about this tank, guys, is a lot of good players play this tank. So if you are looking at your statistics on this tank, just keep that in mind. Like there's not a lot of good players that play this, or there's a lot of good players that play this tank. FV is able to get a shot into me there. I didn't think he had, like, it looked like his gun was aiming too high, but I guess that's just how crazy the arc is on this tank. He's able to get a shot into me. Anyway, we do 1231 damage, 901 assists, 10 spots, and that's visible. You know, we got a lot of blind fire here. So a lot of good players play the Cromwell, so just keep this in mind if you're looking at your score. Like, I did 1200 damage visible, and it's blue by XVM standards. On most mediums of this tier, this would probably be like purple, except like the BUGI, right? Because that tank is also crazy. But just keep that in mind, guys. Like, when a lot of good players play a particular tank, the expected values for that tank, for WN8, even for like assisted damage, if you are looking at that, like anything, they tend to be higher. So what you can actually do is if you want to mark a tank that's easy to mark, you can actually go to tomato.gg. Skill uses this website, and I will show you guys before the end plates. Actually, you can go to tomato.gg. I have it, my account here, but you can go to like MOE requirements, and you can literally go to, like, let's just say tier 6, and you could sort this by, let's just say, light tanks. You could do it by anything you want, and then you can go to the 95% here, or if you want to 2-mark it, you can do it by this, because most tanks, like for instance, the AMD is going to have the lowest 50, 65, 85, and 95, but I have seen some tanks that actually have a like for instance, if it was the Super Chaffee and the AMD, the 95% might actually be higher, and the, for this particular tank, and the 85% could be lower, if that makes sense. So like, for instance, it's actually easier to 2-mark the AMD than it is to 2-mark the Super Chaffee, but it might be easier to 3-mark, the Super Chaffee than the AMD. I think I'm explaining that the correct way. But anyway, I would sort it by the marks you want to get on it. So for me, I'm usually trying to 3-mark most of these, and you can see the AMD 178B is the easiest tank to 3-mark. This is a very large database, guys. There's a lot here. You can actually do it by this and see the change that each tank has had. You can sort it by that. You can look at mastery requirements for first class, for all these tanks. You can go to actual tank stats and see. So again, if you want to have a good performance in a tank, you can look at the WN8 of a particular tank, and you can see here that the M41 Bulldog has a very, very low expected damage per game and frags and stuff like that. This website has more information than you can ever hope to look at. I mean, it's Tomato GG, like, it's really good. I used to use Watt Labs, but Tomato GG is absolutely insane. I mean, these guys have put in so much work on this website. There's nothing you can't find on this website. Anyway, let's take a look at the end plates, guys. I think this is like a scout badge or something like that. 1572 assist, 1,857 damage was the final, so we got a lot of shots on the VK, 5 to be exact, and we hit 3 modules as well. This was a first class game. Again, like I said, guys, 4 kills, 1,857 damage, 1233 experience, and this is a tier 6 medium, and this is a first class. So that's what I mean about the expected values. If I had played this tank in a medium that, let's just take a look at tier 6 mediums. If I had played this particular game in, say, let's actually go to mastery requirements, because most of them are similar, but like if you're looking at MOE requirements and mastery requirements and tank stats, if you're looking at anything that's low there, usually it's going to be easier to mark the tank or to get a mastery, but they have mastery, MOE, and tank stats, so they have all 3 of them, so you might as well just look at that particular one. So let's go to tier 6, let's go to mediums, and you can see here, like if I play this in the M4A3E8, or the 40 TP, Type 58, Cheeto, like all these tanks, dude, this would have been an ace wanker easily. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. Like, you know, the Cromwell is all the way down here. So if you're looking to mark tanks, if you're looking to get mastery, um, first class, even second class, whatever it is, or even like they have W&A expected values, right? Like just go to this website. I'm telling you, it has so much information. And you can sort it by damage. So for instance, I started playing what tank was it? I sorted it by damage, I believe it was. It's a tier 5, I think it's a Cavalier, mediums, and you could see that if you sort it by expected damage, actually I don't see it here. I must have been doing it in tank stats or something like that. Damage per game, tier 5, mediums. And here, the Cavalier, 348 expected damage per game, 46% win rate. So this tank is easy to mark. I'm not going to say I got it just for that. I noticed that it was really low here for the tank stats. And again, this is over the last 60 days, so it's not like overall. This is the last 60 days. But yeah, for the Cavalier, this tank is very easy to mark, and I found that it's got good mobility, it's got good, decent DPM and like dispersion and all that. So I'm like, I might as well just get this, and I'll try and 3-mark it. Anyway, guys, this is our final score here. I hope I didn't bore you too much with Tomato GG, but I just love that website, so I really recommend that you take a look at it. You saw the experience we had there, and yeah, here's our detailed report. We lost a little bit of coin, but overall, I mean, this is just a phenomenal tank. If you're looking for a well-rounded tank to play, somewhat forgiving tank, the Cromwell is really good. And look, the aiming time and the dispersion actually isn't even that bad. Decent DPM, and this is how I have it set up. Vents, optics, the rotational mechanism, vent purge, rations, and I have a lot of like concealment and stuff over here. 2-skill crew, nothing crazy. Play this tank. If you guys want a tank that is versatile, play the Cromwell. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you for the next one. Bye-bye now.